Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very final game of the first ever Entrapment Championships. We have two teams that have beaten all of the opposition. They're evenly matched in a best of 3 finals. We have IndianTechSupport in red taking on Team Elsoma in blue one last time. This is where it all ends. This time, Team Elsoma are missing the player who gave the team the name, Elsoma. And IndianTechSupport are missing Fabian. We're gonna play 3 vs 2 on The Garden by Maloma. We're joining in this game in round 4. The chest for this round had blazes, as you might have guessed. Before that we also had illagers, TNT and observers. No damage has been dealt this far. The observer chest is also interesting because it gives the teams shulker boxes to store and organize their inventories in. That happened very early this time around, which is good for their trap material gathering. Now Zork did manage to spawn in this blaze, escape the fireballs that did come after. There's some fire still remaining, but not too bad. But now we're coming up to the end of round 4, the countdown is starting, and IndianTechSupport now need to deal with this blaze. The firing line is pretty open. And they're stepping out, rushing in. This place has actually not really got a line of fire on them, shoots directly into the wall and they can escape directly into the arena. Not the result that Team Elsoma were looking for sure. Chest for that round contained creepers, by the way, and now we're in the next round. The blaze is gone, has despawned, but the fire is still there. Zorg has decided to board up this walkway, then steps directly into the fire, takes the first damage of the match. That's not the best for him, but it was only half a heart. In the chest for this round, shulkers and endermites, and I'm sure they want to do something about that. Zork is currently harvesting some more wood here right in front of spawn. They've removed some of the ladders, and before you saw him board up the walkway, so now it's going to be hard for a team to rush through into the arena. Shulkers coming down, shulkers across the entire field from the entrance. There's no direction you can go without encountering a shulker. And now, IndianTechSupport are here. Team Elsoma taking an early initiative in making traps. We haven't seen that much out of IndianTechSupport yet in this game. Hit on Chromatis, floats up to the ceiling, no big deal, no damage taken, still has spawn safety. There's a hit on Todesstimme too, now they're hanging out at the ceiling, both of them. Chromatis is down. Needs to figure out some way to deal with this. Lots of shulker balls. There we go. Another hit there, floating about, hanging in the ceiling. Todesstimme just runs for it. Some of the shulkers have started attacking each other, so that's a little bit of a relief for them. And Todesstimme makes it all the way into that corridor. Chromatis is still in the spawn zone though. Takes another hit, floats up. He's going to need to get out of there real soon now, because the spawn safety is about to run out. More shulker bullets bouncing around. He is down on the ground, takes a run for it. Shulker bullets imploding right next to him in the walkway, but he makes it into the corridor. Followed by one shulker bullets, but as he turns the corner, that loses tracking as well. All clear, IndianTechSupport have made it into the arena and can pick up the zombie pigmen from this round's chest. We're still in round 7, now we're approaching the end of it. Chromatis has decided to further board up the entrance to this little corridor walkway here, making it even harder for Team Elsoma to repeat their escape. And here's the switchover, countdowns happening. Team Elsoma have arrived. The shulkers are still there. Some of them did die after fighting each other there, but now Team Elsoma need to deal with their own trap. They appear to have some form of a more detailed plan, start building up a structure right in front of spawn to be able to make their escape. Zork the Great leading the way on the build while the shulker bullets rain down along them. Elliot gets hit, floats up. Zork covers the entire length of the spawn, hopefully shielding them from more bullets as they work on their escape. The chest for this round, by the way, contains skeleton spawn eggs. You don't want to miss those. And now Elliot's down on the ground, they can dig down into the arena floor and get out that way. And Team Elsoma have successfully escaped, closing up the escape route behind them. Moving on to round 9, there were lava buckets and magma blocks in this round's chest. We are looking at the other arena, the one where Team Elsoma moved to after last round, and Elliot is up on top of the bridge. He's making a hole into that bridge. Might seem like a silly trap, but all of these blocks are the same color. It is kind of hard to see which blocks are there if you don't look too closely, and especially from some angles, this hole is going to be completely invisible. Back in the other arena, Chromatus is also up on the hill with the bridge, but he's trying to get to the loot chest that has inconveniently spawned for them right on top of that tree at spawn, and there are still the shulkers around. Shulker Bull is chasing him now. He's trying to shield it away, but it does a sort of little pirouette around him. He gets hit, starts floating upwards, builds a pillar of cobblestone underneath him so that he won't take fall damage. That's the build limit though, can't build any higher up than that. No problem though, because that's the end of the levitation. Now Todesstimme is here as well. They're both trying to get the loot for this round, and it is going to involve getting on top of that tree and not being hit by shulker bullets. They don't have much time left in the round to do it either. They both jump across, have opened the chest. Todesstimme is guarding away the shulker bullets. In the other arena, Team Elsoma have also covered the entire spawn in lava. And the switch over happens. Now IndianTechSupport are going to have to deal with the lava, while Team Elsoma gets to deal with all of the shulkers yet once more. IndianTechSupport have easily made it out through that lava field into the arena, and Team Elsoma have decided to once again go for digging a hole and dropping down, avoiding the shulkers that way. And we have now hit round 10 with very little damage on either team. There's 1.5 heart of damage on both teams actually. And in the chest for round 10, spider spawn eggs. And finally, after a whole bunch of digging, Team Elsoma have made it into the arena. Later on in round 10, Chromatus has armored IndianTechSupport up. He's now fully iron armored, and he's left armor pieces for Todesstimme as well. Now he's climbing up to cross the bridge back towards spawn. There's a chest on it, but it doesn't have a beacon on it, so it has been emptied already. He runs past, and there's the hole. He doesn't see it at all, falls down, loses a huge chunk of health, and is now down to 3 hearts remaining. Massive health loss for IndianTechSupport. Moving into round 11, there were slime blocks and cobwebs in the chest for this round, but that's not what Team Elsoma are using. They've spawned in a whole bunch of blazes and a whole bunch of skeletons. It is daytime though, so all of the skeletons are burning. This enclosure does not have a ceiling. And there's a massive noise as all of these skeletons are burning up. Zorok seems to have realized the mistake. He's crossing to the end, building some staircase up, starting to put a roof on this structure. But that means the blazes have seen him. They fly up and unleash a rain of fireballs onto him, and he has to go hide in a little corner, builds up a quick little structure for himself. And Ganonman is right in front of spawn. They attack him too. He has to block himself into a little cubby hole inside of the wall, and there are 2 lit furnaces in front of spawn here, probably contain valuable material for them that they don't want to lose. But it's really hard for them to get at them with all of these blazes still active and flying up above spawn. And now Ganonman is stuck inside of that wall. Zorok is stuck right next to spawn. And Elliot is further into the arena, and they might just be giving up and handing over the resources inside of these furnaces if they can't get out of this situation somehow. Ganonman's peeking out. Nope, just not a good idea. Fire coming in from those blazes right away. And it looks like Elliot has joined them, is right next to Ganonman. Behind him inside of the wall right now. There's not much either of them can do actually in this situation, and the round is ticking away. There's not much left of it by now, and we're gonna have the countdown really soon. If you're gonna make a last desperate rush for those resources, it's gotta happen now. Nothing is coming. The countdown is on, and we have switched over to IndianTechSupport. They now have a whole load of blazes and skeletons to deal with. Start swinging swords at them. That's not going to be fast enough. We only have 30 seconds of spawn safety this late. creepers might just do the trick. Gotta get them to blow up. There it goes. Blow up a sizable chunk of all of these blazes. Chromatus is on fire though, so is Todesstimme now, and the spawn safety is about to run out. And they have to rush out. They rush up, and this has been blocked off. Place down some water to not take much damage if the fireballs hit until they have opened it up. And now they are on their way into the arena. Redstone components in this round's loot chest. And Team Elsoma are gonna put some of these redstone components to use, and we've seen this style of TNT trap before, but this one is not correctly constructed. If they lit this one, it will immediately blow up. The furnace needs to be in between the redstone and the TNT, and they have discovered it and broken it apart to start setting it back up again. Seem to not be in agreement on how to build it though, or insecure somehow. They built it up correctly, torn it down again, built it up again, torn it down yet again, and now they've built it up incorrectly again. And torn it down again. And now it's correct again. I don't know if they're gonna leave it this way now. What needs to happen is they light the furnace, throw something on one of the pressure plates, break the other one, and then leave it be. They appear to be doing it correctly this time. The pressure plate has been broken, the furnace is lit. The redstone does power the furnace, but the furnace has not been updated. So what will happen is that when the furnace stops burning, it will update and also update its neighbor blocks, which lights the TNT. So whenever this furnace stops burning, the TNT will go off. This is now a timer mechanism, countdown to explosion, and also countdown to the end of the round. There it goes. TNT goes off very early, actually. Chromatus is about to head out. There goes the TNT. He backs away. Massive explosion. Big hole next to spawn, but no damage dealt. That was way before the spawn safety was off. The only one that got hit was the shulker. There's certainly a potential for more explosions too, because in the chest for this round were TNT minecarts. And we're later in round 13 now, and Chromatus is trying to get at the chest for the round. It's right next to a shulker, next to spawn. He's put down a shulker box to try to transfer all of these TNT minecarts. It's difficult with them because they don't stack in the inventory. But he's having problems with this shulker. It is not cooperating and letting him take these things. So he has to rush forward, take some of the TNT minecarts and back off, put them in his shulker box, and it is risky every time that shulker bullet hits that slab though. That's probably very beneficial for him, and he seems to be safe in this position, and he can pick them up in several rotations. More TNT minecarts to take. Backs off. That shulker bullet flew up high, but it seems to have exploded on some random wall up there, and he's really worried about these shulker bullets. I don't blame him at all. Todesstimme comes to reinforce. He seems to be happy with the situation. They'll grab the shulker box and they can flee back into the arena after getting all of those TNT minecarts. Next round, round 14, IndianTechSupport don't appear to want the TNT minecarts. They would rather have TNT blocks, so they've been putting them down and breaking them in order to separate the minecarts from the TNT. Now that's done, Chromatus is heading up and over the bridge once again. There is still chests on top of it. They've already been looted. Doesn't mean that they don't contain anything, of course, but it does mean that at one point they have been empty. Opens one up and takes a look at it, falls into the same hole as the last time, falls down. He doesn't have the health to support that kind of a fall. That's the last of him. GG Chromatus, and what a way to go for someone who only died the first time in the entire tournament in the previous final game. And what a difficult situation for Todesstimme, who is now alone in the deciding game against 3 players on Team Elsoma. We have now skipped ahead to round 15. There have been silverfish blocks, pistons, and cave spiders and witch spawn eggs in the meantime, and Todesstimme is not resting. He has decided he wants to build a trap at spawn, and that means he needs to deal with these shulkers around. He's tried 2 different approaches now. Gone down there. One has teleported, but it didn't really help. Now a second one has teleported, but he has taken a hit. Takes 1 heart of damage, floats up into the canopy of these trees. Puts a water bucket down to not take fall damage. and then takes it away again before he falls to not be slowed down by the water so much. Very clever way to deal with that situation. And he now has one shulker to deal with, the other one has teleported away. This one is proving quite difficult though. Shulker bullets chasing him all the way up the hill and back into the arena. That one is really tricky to access now. Teleported onto the wall of the hill. It's going to be really tricky to get that one out of the way. Checking out the other arena for a bit again, the lava is now everywhere. Most of these blocks are also silverfish blocks. And the Team Elsoma are spawning in the Illagers, or at least the Vindicators. They end up in a bunch and then get pushed out by physics. One of them ends up in lava. And now Todestimmen needs to deal with that. But there are also pigmen in here. They were agitated by Team Elsoma, but that was too long ago, so they've all been calmed down by now. And he is now trying to dig his way through this problem, past the pigmen. Hopefully for his sake none of them fall in the way of his pickaxe, because then he's going to be in a world of problem. Seems to manage to dig past them and into the arena. Still round 16 on the other arena. We're watching Team Elsoma now. They're on top of the hill. And Zorok is running out to the edge there. He's holding a spawn egg, building up a little bit of a platform there. Those are witch spawn eggs. Witch is coming in. He runs back off so that they can't throw any potions up. Take a little bit of fall damage on the way down, but of course witches have healing potions. That's not a problem. Skip ahead a little bit. The witches are still there, and Zorok is looking at them. The shulker is still on that wall though, and he hasn't noticed. He's busy looking at those witches. The shulker bullet is coming in, takes one heart of damage and gets hit, floats up, rushes into the middle of the arena, and his teammates put down water buckets so that he has somewhere to fall without taking damage, and then take out the remaining shulker bullets to avoid any more damage. Still round 16, now back in Todestimmen's arena though. He is holding a TNT block. Remember, all of these are silverfish blocks. That could be a very, very potent weapon. Now he just needs to trigger it. Back with Team Elsoma, the witches are still there of course. And Todestimmen is actually having some problems triggering that block, but he does, and it blows up. And Team Elsoma are using creepers to blow up the pigmen too, causing even more silverfish to get loose. And meanwhile, Todestimmen is being chased by witches throwing potions. Some of them hit the shulker. Shulker is also getting involved. Todestimmen has been chased off into the arena, but it has somehow miraculously made it unhurt. And more creepers coming down from Team Elsoma, trying to make sense of this situation, but this only seems to let more silverfish loose and let more lava in. One creeper is down, they're still refusing to blow up, and now the spawn safety is up, the world border is coming in. And all of the team ends up on this 2 blocks bunched up together. Silverfish are coming in, they're starting to take damage, and now they're precariously fighting away silverfish while standing on silverfish blocks, surrounded by silverfish blocks and lava. And they're taking more and more damage from it. Finally managed to get some blocks down in the way, but now they are really stuck in this tiny little hole. Yep, they try to open it up, there's lava behind there, close it back up again. They're really stuck here. They won't be able to move for all of round 17. Loot chest for round 17 is the brewing chest. Team Elsoma are not going to be able to get it. Not the worst one to lose, to be completely honest, but worse, they can't keep building on traps. And now we're 3 minutes later, countdown is happening to round 18, team is still in exactly the same location, switchover happens, Todestimmen now needs to deal with this inferno of lava, pigmen and silverfish blocks. He starts building a way out, gets a much easier ride out of that, but not too easy. There are still silverfish there, one is coming in there, and he's trying to fight it off. That lets more of them loose, and he's getting knocked back. He doesn't have that much spawn safety left to go on either. One more silverfish killed, and he can rush off into the corner, get himself into the arena proper. Now we're later in round 18, Todestimmen has taken fall damage in 2 separate locations to another heart, and there is some fall damage to equalize that on Team Elsoma. They are building up an enclosure, and working on putting on a ceiling this time around. And on the other arena, Toadestim has built a little hut for himself and spawned in a boatload of skeletons from a dispenser. Zombies were in the loot chest for this round, and Team Elsoma have decided to put those to good use, spawn in a whole bunch of them into this enclosure. Meanwhile, on IndianTechSupport's side, the skeletons just keep coming. There's lots of them now. Team Elsoma have opened the enclosure back up. Ganonman is holding a blaze spawn egg. Looks very keen on spawning that in, trying to find an angle. There's a couple of blazes, at least 3 or 4, and the enclosure has been sealed back up. At this point, both of the teams are mostly waiting. Toadestim is dug into the wall on that hillside, and Team Elsoma seem to mostly be obstructing by putting more blocks in the way here. Behind the noise of all of these mobs, the countdown is happening, switchover happens. Toadestim is now dealing with zombies and blazes, puts down a creeper that immediately blows up from being hit by a blaze, and then he has free passage out almost. And meanwhile, Team Elsoma are fighting their way out among all of these skeletons, arrows coming in from left and right. There's still 2 of them left inside of the spawn, and they're not going to have much spawn safety to go on. Elliot is fighting his way out. Ganonman is still behind there. Seems to be a little bit stuck. Now he has to move. The world border is coming in. Spawn safety is out. They're on top of this little scaffolding-like structure that is on top of spawn. There's still plenty of skeletons around. Use the water bucket to climb there, but the skeletons just assault. More damage coming in. That's 2 hearts of damage. Elias is down to 4 hearts now. And there are skeletons in multiple directions. All they can do really is shield as that skeleton comes up and it fires. And try to get a slash in between the shots. Finally gets that skeleton down. But there is lots of them left, and Elliot just ends up building a little cubbyhole to hide in as an escape. Loot chest for round 19 contained fire charges. We've switched over to the other arena where later on in the round watching Toadestim at spawn. He's digging out some blocks, trying to get into the structure to set up a new trap. He has a dispenser he wants to place by the looks of things. Removes one of the blocks, but that's a silverfish block. Has to fight that silverfish, and smacking it makes another one comes loose. Kills it there, and the other one seems to have gone away. And now he can go back into this, try to place that dispenser down. That's not what he wanted. That goes upwards, and he has to take it back away again. And removes one more block. That was a normal cobblestone block, and now he can place this dispenser in there, and again plug this back up. Nearing the end of round 19 now, there's a clock connected to that dispenser. Well, almost. Now there is. And there come all of the pigmen. Those were in the dispenser apparently. And he smacked one to get them agitated, but it's too long left of the round. That's not gonna last. Oh, let's add some illagers as well, because why not? Apparently that makes a good mix for Team Elsoma. Oh, let's add some witches as well, and why not all of the zombies? This is now becoming quite the crowded space for Team Elsoma. There will be many mobs that want to give them a hug once they arrive. Oh, there are also endermites in there. I couldn't even see those get spawned in. There are now so many mobs, and Toadestim looks like he's satisfied. He's leaving the area there. Well, no, he's not. He has a spawn egg in his hand. Spawning in spiders outside of spawn as well. Those are going to chase him though, so he has to run away across the entire area to the other corner and up that side to escape those spiders. And that's not all. He spawns in 2 cave spiders there as well. Now he really has to run away, because those are properly dangerous. Jumping across to that tree, the spiders are all following. The countdown is happening, and he rushes off into that corner. And there is the switchover. Hello Team Elsoma and welcome to this party. They want to add some participants as well. Creepers are going down. That is letting some of the silverfish loose, but there were a lot of mobs that just died to that. Spiders are dropping by too, and there are silverfish all over the place still. Zorgus built up a little bit of a path that makes a run for it. Ganonman is using a water bucket, trying to flush away the mobs. The spawn safety is running out though, they've got to run into it. Ganonman has also ran in, found a blocked path, and now has to stack up. Elliot is running off into the corner. Spider following Ganonman up the pillar, he has to jump away and run. Elliot is climbing with a water bucket, that's slow, but he makes it up too. And Meets that spider on the way out. That is a hit. Takes another 1.5 hearts of damage. He's down to 2.5, looking precarious for him. And he rushes up onto this bridge. And there's a cave spider waiting. He has to run across, jump over all of the holes that have been dug after the first one successfully killed Chromatics, and then down to the other end where finally he is safe. Round 20 loot chest contains bows and arrows, and this version of Entrapment only contains 20 loot chests, so we're now starting over. The next one will be a random draw out of the entire set. Moving on to later in round 20. And we're looking at Team Elsoma repairing the mess they made out of that spawn with all of those creepers. The noise in the background is one of the teammates lighting things on fire with fire charges. They haven't really gotten anything done there, but one spawn in of an illager. Here we go, an evoker has been placed. And here's Todesstimme. By the looks of things, he can hear this illager and he doesn't want anything to do with it. He's going out this side. Decides to dig down and just jump into the area below that has been used so many times before and then plug up the escape. In the other arena, we're watching Elliot cross the bridge over. This one doesn't have any holes. Todesstimme plugged that one up after Chromatis died. But at the end, there is a small cave with the most sneaky skeleton in the game. As Elliot is jumping up, there's an arrow that knocks him off the edge. The fall damage is enough to kill him. GG Elliot, and suddenly it's 1 versus 2 with almost equal health. And now Team Elsoma need to scramble to get the stuff that Elliot dropped. And Zorok is trying to make his way over, getting assaulted by a skeleton. Tries to use his water bucket to dampen the fall there, but mistimes it. It's a very, very delicate maneuver. And the skeleton steps into the light, starts burning. That's probably lucky for him. And dies eventually. Still lucky for him, he escaped that round, and they can go pick up Elliot's stuff. Next round, in a tiny space underneath of spawn, we find Team Elsoma with their favorite trap. Furnace lit. Item goes down, pressure plate removed, but then since the space is so small, they pick the item back up, and throwing it back out just lights the TNT. There it goes. Luckily for them, they had a tunnel to run away into, but as Zorok is trying to come back, he just meets a silverfish that got blown open and has to run back away. He is lucky that the switchover is happening. We're skipping ahead to almost the end of the next round. We're watching Team Elsoma's arena. They've built a little hut with a dispenser mechanism and dispensed a whole lot of skeletons. They've now spread all over this hill, and we have IndianTechSupport, well, that is Todesstimme, coming into this one. To catch you back up on the loot, since last time we mentioned it in the new rotation, we've had lava buckets and magma blocks, slime blocks and cobwebs, pistons, and now skeletons that you saw that Team Elsoma had used. And Todesstimme is coming out of the spawn zone here into a veritable shooting gallery full of skeletons. There are skeletons everywhere on this side. And the Todesstimme has been building a shaker machine on this arena. It's the same kind of trap that we saw in the previous final game. It failed there because the other team had quick enough pickaxes to break it. But apparently he wants to try this once again, and it has been left alone by Team Elsoma this far, but he does need to clear out these skeletons in order to keep building it. He's cleared most of them out. There's a bunch left though, and he's now looking at the redstone. That's a bit dangerous. There's a skeleton that comes in, shoots him in the back for another half heart, just dodges another arrow there and has to jump away across to the other side of these trees where he can start fighting this skeleton. Takes a couple of shots at it and takes it down. And then he can move back to spawn and start working on his design again. These are all sticky pistons. The idea behind this is to get them all to extend and retract in sync and as quickly as possible. The redstone torches going down so that he can control them. And once he has all of those, all he needs to do is switch all of the torches on and off in sync. And the entire wall will be shaking rapidly back and forth, which means that it becomes quite difficult to break if you don't have a quick enough pickaxe. He does seem to want to change something though, because now he is removing all of the blocks that were a part of the wall. We're later on in round 25 now. There were redstone components in the chest this round, by the way, and he has replaced all of the blocks with wooden blocks. That is actually pretty clever. At this point in an entrapment game, it is pretty sure that the enemy team will have pretty quick pickaxes, but is not so sure that they will have quick axes. Actually, that would be a surprise. So now they are wooden blocks instead. That might be more difficult to get through for Team Elsoma. Now all he needs is the control mechanism, but he is running out of time. This round is starting to come to an end, and a clock mechanism will take some time to build. He also needs to cover up the ceiling there. Looks like he's prioritizing putting that ceiling on and covering that spawn up completely, and now he can go back to something else. Looks like he's building up a wall of sorts rather than building the actual mechanism for this. He's actually covering the entire thing up, maybe trying to hide it from the other team, which would be weird because they should have already seen this in the last round. But he does seem to be placing down a full enclosure of wood around all of this redstone. I'm not even sure he's going to have time with that before the end of the round, though. And look at the round number. This is round 25, a true testament to the skill of these teams. These matches have been really, really long as entrapment matches go. Countdown is on. He has to figure out something else. He places down a shulker. One shot fired, but he got away from that without a problem. That's actually pretty clever. Not only does it become a problem for Team Elsoma, it also kind of deters them from being around spawn and nosying into his redstone mechanism. They just escape down into the path underneath spawn instead and get into the arena that way. Moving on to round 27 in the rain, we've had creepers and zombie pigments in the chest, and now Todestim is back, and he has to deal with his own shulker in order to be able to keep building here. He's climbing up on top of the hill, try to do something about it from there. Obviously doesn't really have a good shot. Bows out, shoots down at this shulker, that teleports away underground. That's good enough for him, but the shulker bullets are still coming in. Has to run away until they have impacted on some random pieces of the hill, and now he should be able to go back to building. And built it, he has. We are later in the round, the shaker is active, he's building another trap above spawn. There's a timer mechanism and a dispenser thing. Dispenser is working, but there's nothing in it. And in the middle of this noise, Team Elsoma go in. They don't even need axes. Here come the creepers. We'll just blow our way into this arena instead. No problem at all. And that was a lot of redstone building for very little effect. And Team Elsoma can now start building up a path into the arena and build up a small little shelter for themselves at the edge there. Later on, round 28 still, the loot chest for this round contained bows and arrows again. They had no need of that, but they have a dispenser mechanism with the pigmen from a previous round. Lots of pigmen in this very tightly confined space. Not going to do them much good at this point though, because they are all very peaceful. They're all stuck next to the little edge here on spawn too. And outside, the team has to try to get a way to get access to them. Cannon Man digs up a hole here, so he can smack one of them through there. That's agitated pigman. Digs it up again, tries to smack them again. I don't think that worked properly because they're all very peaceful. And Todestim is now in here, sees all of the pigmen, goes nope, backs away into spawn again. He's sitting here in calm spawn safety. And then just walks out and blocks up the path to the pigmen, and now he can do whatever he likes in peace. Not very effective pigmen from Team Elsoma either there. Loot chest for round 29, I can't believe I just said that. Round 29, spiders. Nearing the end of round 29, Todestim has kept working on it. The dispenser mechanism is now complete. There are zombie pigmen around spawn now. He's agitating them by shooting them with a bow. Countdown is happening. He steps off the pressure plate. That's a timer mechanism with a dispenser mechanism at the end of it, and the fully repaired shaker mechanism. Let's do the same thing again. Creeper coming down, that creates an exit. Zorok goes for it. Ganonman places another creeper though, and with Zorok outside of the spawn safety, that kills him immediately. GG Zorok the Great. Now there's only Ganonman left, and the timer is running out. TNT blocks being dispensed, explosions incoming, there we go, and Indian Tech Support become the first ever Entrapment Champions.